Okay, for the record, this is position number 65, State of Georgia versus Stantuan Williams. And Mr. Williams is charged in warrant number 2022 WA 14307 with committing the offense of criminal trespass. He's also charged in warrant number 2022 WA 14308 with committing the offense of simple battery. He's present in court. He's represented by counsel. Mr. Taylor, would you
Yes,
please
Your Honor.
swear in your witness and present your case?
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Williams, could you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that the evidence you shall give in the matter before the court shall be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Could you state your full name for the record, please?
Officer K. Williams.
And what is your position or occupation, and what agency do you work for?
Uniform Patrol, Clayton County Police Department.
Were you working on the date September 12th of this year?
Yes, sir.
And on that date, did you have occasion to respond to a call at 5519 Denny Drive in College Park?
Yes, sir.
And is that in Clayton County?
Yes, it is.
Could you tell us the nature of the call that you responded to?
It was a domestic disturbance.
And when you arrived at that location, who did you make contact with?
I first made contact with the mother, homeowner. I believe it was Tremaine McCommons was her name.
And what did Ms. McCommons inform you of?
She basically told me that she had called us out here because her son and her daughter had gotten into a verbal then physical altercation. That her daughter had left the night before due to another altercation with Stantuan. And when she came back to get some belongings on the date of the call, Stantuan kind of jumped her, rushed in the living room and just started wailing on her. And then when the mom pulled Stantuan off and put it, like, kind of drug him, walked him outside and shut the door behind him so he could get away from the daughter, he walked off, and then a few moments later walked back up and began trying to break back into the house and was damaging the door in the process.
Did you observe the door?
Yes, I did. It was actually, you had to go around to the back side of the house because it was the metal storm door was damaged. It was broken at the bottom. The locking mechanism was damaged. So we couldn't get in and out of that door.
And Mrs. McCommons told you that it was her son that had done that damage?
Yes, sir.
And he had just done it that day?
Yes, sir.
Did Ms. McCommons observe the defendant striking his sister?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you speak with, what is his sister's name?
I do not recall her name.
Her name is Stantricia?
Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Did you speak with Ms. Stantricia Williams?
Yes, I did.
And what did she inform you?
Basically the same thing the mom did, that she had left the night before due to a disagreement over, I think she was alleging that Stantuan had taken something of hers. And it was something small, petty like that. And so she left to avoid any altercation with him. And when she arrived back that day, she was going inside to get some of her belongings. And when she had come inside, she was walking into her bedroom when Stantuan came out from another room and began hitting her and knocked her to the ground, where he started trying to punch her in the face. And she advised that she had stuck her arms up to defend herself. And he hit her a couple times in the head. She couldn't advise how many. And then he began to, like, once she was on the ground, he kicked her approximately 3 times in the ribs before the mom came in and drug him off.
Okay. Were you able to observe any injuries to Ms. Williams?
I was not.
No further questions at this time, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Little.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Williams, When you arrived on scene, was Stantuan there?
Stantuan was not there when I arrived on scene.
Okay, so you spoke to his mother and his sister.
Yes.
They both told you that the door had been damaged that day?
Yes.
Okay. Did they tell you how the door got damaged?
With him trying to break back in, him trying to get back into the house, still going after the sister.
Okay, and you were able to personally observe that damage.
Yes.
Can you describe what it was? Like
So
what happened to the door?
it's a typical metal storm door. The bottom half of it was kind of bent off the frame, and then the locking mechanism, it had been hit a couple times and had been knocked loose or to the side, so it was no longer engaging, so it was stuck shut. And there was other multiple dents and stuff in the metal screening.
Okay. Now you were able to make contact with Stantuan at some point during this investigation.
Yes,
Okay. And did you ask him what happened?
I did, and he denied that any altercation had happened between him and his sister, and advised that the door had been broken on a previous incident at a later date or an earlier date.
He told you the door had been broken months before, right?
Yes.
Okay. And he denied that there was a physical altercation between him and his sister.
Yes.
And you did not observe any injuries on Stan Tricia.
I did not observe any sort of like markings or bruising or anything like that. No.
Okay. Was her clothing disheveled or broken or anything?
Her clothing was it looked like she'd been in some sort of altercation. I mean, it didn't look neat and clean, but it looked like something had happened.
Okay. And what she told you had happened was that she was on the ground and Stantuan was hitting her while she was on the ground.
He came in hitting her, and then they fell to the ground.
And he kept hitting her after she was on the ground.
Yes.
Did she say where she got hit?
Yes, and the left ribs approximately 3 times.
Okay. And is that where you checked for injuries?
Yes.
And you didn't observe anything?
No.
Okay. Those are the questions I have at this time.
Mr. Taylor, do you have any follow-up?
Yes, Your Honor. Officer Williams, Ms. Williams, skin tone, is it darker, lighter? How would you
It's
describe it?
a medium complexion. I wouldn't say either way, either too light or too dark.
Would it be easily observable if she had bruises?
Not right off the bat. No, it would not be easily observable right off the bat. I'd say once they were pretty predominant, given an hour or two, a couple hours or so. Yeah, maybe.
Approximately how long did you see her after the incident was reported?
To the best of my knowledge, I believe I was there within 30 minutes or so of the initial call and the time they claimed the incident occurred.
And without proclaiming to be an expert, would you say that the bruises may not have had time to fully develop?
Yes.
Objection. Just
Okay.
asking them to make something up for us.
Sustain. That's asking. That's a speculation.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. No further questions.
Okay. Any redirect? I'm sorry, recross.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. May Officer Williams be released?
Do we have another case, officer?
Not that
I don't believe so. He may be released, Your Honor. Thank you, officer.
Sir.
Okay, Officer Williams, you are free to go. You are also free to stay. It's your choice.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Little, do you have any witnesses that you're going to call?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Taylor, you're going to waive opening.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Williams, I'm sorry, Mr. Little.
Your Honor, I think I'll just submit on the evidence on this one.
Okay. Based upon that announcement, Mr. Taylor, do you have anything that you wish to present?
No, Your Honor. I'll submit on the evidence as well.
Based upon the evidence that's submitted, I'm going to bind this case over to the State Court of Lee County. And we have, from my recollection, one more case, Victor Antoine Williams. Mr. Santuan Williams can go back. My Advil is starting to wear off on me. I sitting in a chair. I never knew how much pain you could have from sitting in a chair. But
I think this should be quick, Your Honor.
okay,
Close it on the end, Your Honor.
I hope so. Is Officer Steerley. Can Officer Steerley be released?
Yes, Your Honor. The state made an announcement a few minutes ago before the last hearing that Officer Steerley had already been accused, but the state thought he just arrived a little late and hadn't heard that announcement.
Officer Steerley, if you can hear us, you are free to be released. If you choose to stay, we're happy to have you, but you're not under any obligation to stay. For the record, this is position 47, State of Georgia versus Victor Antoine Williams. Mr. Williams is charged in warrant number 2022 WA 14354 with committing the offense of criminal trespass. He's here in present in court. He's represented by counsel. The state is here. Mr. Taylor, would you please swear in your witness and present your case?
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Smith, will you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear that the evidence you shall give in the matter before the court shall be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Do.
Would you please state your full name and occupation for the record?
Yes, sir. My name is Officer A. Smith. I work with Clayton County Police Department and I'm in the uniform division.
Thank you. Were you working on the evening or on the day rather of September 13th, 2022?
Yes, sir.
Did you have occasion to respond to a call at 6726 Terra Boulevard in Jonesboro?
Yes, sir.
Is that in Clayton County?
Yes, sir.
What was the nature of the call that you responded to?
Nature was a call about some squatters that were spotted by the apartment complex's management team. And so when she told us about the situation, she acknowledged that when she went to knock on the door that she saw the squatters, that the door was blocked. And that's when she notified the police.
And who was the person that you spoke with initially?
Her name was Deborah Freeman.
And she's the property manager at that location?
Yes, sir.
And that's the Overlook Apartments?
Yes, sir.
Did she indicate that, let's see, this was apartment B25 AD?
Yes, sir.
And was that apartment leased to anybody?
No, sir.
What did you do next?
When I arrived on scene, of course, I made contact with her. And at that point in time, we attempted to make entry into the building, in which we did. And I noticed that it was blocked by a couch, like it was barricaded to keep someone out.
Mm-hmm. Was there anybody in the apartment?
Yes, sir. It was, in fact, Victor Williams and a Jones Ukele DeMay. I can't pronounce his name. I apologize.
Ukele Jones. And Victor Williams is the defendant here today. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you can identify him on the Zoom video, maybe by an article of clothing?
Yeah. Let me see if I can scroll and see his face. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Taylor, can I tell you that I always chuckle with that question because there's only one person that's identified as Clayton County Jail.
That's the nature of Zoom video. I appreciate that, Your Honor.
Wait, go ahead.
Did Ms. Freeman give you any additional information regarding the defendant, Mr. Williams?
Yes, sir. She has spoken to him before because it turns out previously that they had a CP out for him for the exact situation at the apartment complex.
And a CT is a criminal trespass?
Yes, sir.
And when was he given this criminal trespass?
He was given this criminal trespass back, and I want to say the 6th, what month is that? 6/16/2022 of this year. So that would be June, I would presume.
And it was for this specific property, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, officer. No further questions.
Mr. Little?
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Smith, you say that Mr. Williams already had a criminal trespass warning from the property?
Yes, sir.
When you say he has a criminal trespass warning, how is he presented with that criminal trespass warning?
I would presume it was when another officer was on the scene and was called to the property, and he was properly given a criminal trespass from Miss Deborah in front of the officer.
So it wasn't you that did it?
It wasn't me that did it.
Okay.
Hold on one second, Mr. Little. Mr. Officer Smith, my understanding is that there is a process.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, sir, I apologize.
No problem. And that you can go and check if a criminal trespass has been issued.
Yes, sir.
So and just to be clear in my mind, so
Mhm.
when you say I presume, the question is, did you check or were you making an assumption?
Oh, no, sir, I checked. When I ran his ID and information, I checked and showed up in our system.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
And when it shows up in your system, what information is actually in your system? Does that include a police report that describes the interaction on that previous encounter?
Yes, sir. It includes the police report and the case number and date of the incident.
Okay. When he's issued a criminal trespass warning, does he have to sign anything to acknowledge it?
No, sir. It just has to be in front of an officer, him and the complainant.
Is he given anything in writing to memorialize the criminal trespass warning?
Can notate that.
Okay. And you wouldn't know because you didn't do the criminal trespass warning in this case.
No, sir.
Okay.
Stop, Mr. Little, hold on. Just so we can make the record clear. Describe the criminal trespass warning process as you know it. Not saying that this is what happened to Mr. Williams, but as you know it, what is the process?
Officer Smith.
Oh, me. Okay. So the process when the criminal trespass is given, you, of course, you approach the property, you speak to the complainant, and if the alleged offender is there, you would tell the complainant to tell in front of you and in front of said offender that, hey, you are not allowed back on this property. And if you come back, it'll be up on a criminal trespass. And we are there as a witness to let him know the situation. So he knows if you come back, they have given you verbal warning that if you come back, you will be arrested on criminal trespass. They do not want you on the property.
And so, Mr. Little, just to let you know, I'm not taking that as evidence that that's what happened to your client, but I just wanted there to be a record of the process.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think that's informative. Is that how you were trained to do these by Clayton County Police Department?
That's how I was, yes, that's how I was trained.
Okay. Do you know the department that issued him the criminal trespass warning in June?
It was a Clayton County Police Department.
Okay. Did Mr. Williams say anything to you when he was taken into custody? Was he asked?
No, sir. No,
Okay.
sir. He didn't say anything. Actually, he didn't say anything.
Okay. Was he asked any questions?
No, sir. He wasn't asking questions. Well, actually, yes, he was. I apologize. He was actually asking a question. He was like, what's going on? Are you leased here? Do you live here? Do you have paperwork showing you live here? He shook his head no, and that was it.
Okay. And then he was arrested because he had that previous criminal trespass warning.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Those are the questions I have at this time.
Mr. Taylor, do you have any follow-up?
No, Your Honor, no redirect. Thank you, Officer Smith.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Officer Smith, you may be excused. You're free to stay, but you no longer under any obligation to stay. Okay,
Yes,
sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Little, Do you have any witnesses that you're going to present?
No witnesses, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Taylor, you're going to waive
Date
opening.
waived, Your Honor.
Mr. Little,
Your Honor, I'll submit on the evidence.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Williams has criminally trespassed in two aspects. First, he was given a criminal trespass warning for this specific location. Secondly, he was on the premises illegal. He entered an apartment with no legal purpose and without the permission of the owner. That was demonstrated by him setting up residence in a location that he is not leased, and the apartment property manager informing the officer that he was not supposed to be there, was not a leased or was not a leasee of the apartment.
I was going to say you're triggering my PTSD, and say lessee, and I'm got to go back into dispossessory landlord tenant world. The evidence is sufficient at this stage that Mr. Williams, there's evidence that he was given a criminal trespass warning and that he was found back on the property after having been given that warning. And there's secondary evidence of the apartment. And I don't know how that's going to go, but that may turn into a felony. But I'm going to bind this over to the state court, Clayton County. And so, do I have anything else to do here today?
I believe that completes our cases, Your Honor. Mr. Tipton?
That's all that I have, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Moore, Mr. Suh, Mr. Little.
Your Honor, I just wanted to ask for a little bit more guidance about Mr. Edwards. I know I'd requested a judicial bind over. Do you want me to prepare an order for that, Your Honor, or does the court have an order that they would use for that?
I believe I received an administrative bind over before from Mr. Moore.
Oh,